Okay guys, today, real quick on this first video, we're going to talk about those words that we looked at a little while ago or last time we were here. Remember these, the chromosomal terms? Okay, and again, remember chromosomes are your coiled up DNA structure, okay? And human beings have 46 of them, right? You and I have 46 in ourselves if we're normal. Now, you remember we talked about a chromosome is basically wrapped into a discrete bundle. It's DNA and the proteins, and the proteins are called histones. Okay, you're going to see what I'm talking about in a second. And each half of that copied chromosome is called a sister chromatid because remember when we copy it, we make two of each. We have two of them, and they're identical to each other because we copied this one. Okay, so when it forms that little X or K-looking structure, that's the chromosome. Each half of that is the chromatid. They're copies of each other. Just like you have two sets of the original chromosome, okay? And then again, they're held together by this thing called a centromere. Now, on your diagrams that you have in your notes, this is what we're talking about here. You can see the DNA, when it's forming a chromosome, is uncondensed. It's regular, normal structure DNA. And then it starts to wrap around these proteins called histones. And it wraps and it wraps and it wraps and it keeps wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And it starts to coil and condense together to form what we think of as a chromosome. And again, remember, this is what it looks like before. This is a single chromosome, coiled up. But remember, we always copied, right? Because if we're going to make new cells, we got to have two sets. So we copied it, and now we have the sister chromatids. And this guy right here is exactly like this one here. Genetically, they're the same thing, okay? Normally. So this is one version, or this is the original, here's the copy, okay? So again, and we have 46 chromosomes. And then basically when we copy them, we end up temporarily with 92 chromosomes, if you want to think of it that way, okay? Now, the numbers again, human beings, that's us, we have 46, okay? Now, not every organism has 46. You can see right here, rice, that stuff there. It has 24 chromosomes. Flies have 12, and chickens have 78 chromosomes. Does that mean chickens are more complicated than we are? No. It just means they have more chromosomes. They have less genetic material on each of the chromosomes, so their chromosomes are actually smaller than ours, okay? But again, every living organism will have different numbers of chromosomes. If I remember correctly, dogs have 48 chromosomes, okay? So again, everybody has a different number of chromosomes in their nuclei, okay? Now, this is us, okay? This is our chromosomal number, and we're going to talk about something called karyotyping, okay? It's how we count the chromosomes, and this right here is called a karyotype. It's a diagrammatic representation, or maybe an actual picture. They can actually do this now where they can take the chromosomes and line them up and take a photograph of them under a microscope and see these things. And they've done that, electron microscopes especially. They've done that, and again, they arrange them from tallest to smallest. So these are the longest ones, these are the shortest ones. This whole thing right here is a human karyotype, okay? This is a human karyotype, and you can see, as you said, we got 22 regular sets of chromosomes, and these are the sex chromosomes that determine either whether you're biologically male or biologically female, okay, or you're male or female. Okay? Now, the chromosomes, remember, you get half your chromosomes from your mom and half from your dad, right? Always remember that. Half of you comes from your mom and half comes from your dad. Okay? So the chromosomes that you've gotten from your mom and then the ones you've gotten from your dad, they're going to be the same kind of chromosomes, okay? And when they're the same chromosome sets, we call them homologous. They're the same, okay? Same length, same shape, carry genes affecting the same traits. So this right here, as you can see in this picture, is a set of homologous chromosomes. Say this set is from mom and this set is from dad, if you think about it that way, okay? And again, we've already copied, right? So normally, when we're not duplicating or making new cells, we have one of these and one of these, right? But they're just uncoiled. But we coil them up, and then we copy, And now we have 2 sets of chromosomes and 2 sets of sister chromatids, okay? But they're identical to each other as far as genetically, okay? And again, remember, we have 1 set of chromosomes from mom, 1 set from dad. Put them together, they give us as the zygote, okay? And again, most human beings are going to have those 46 chromosomes, 23 pair. And again, you get 1 set from mom, and you get 1 set from dad, okay? Pretty straightforward. Okay. Now, some words that we need to remember that go along with these chromosomes. The first word is haploid. What does haploid mean? It basically means we got 1 set of chromosomes, okay? Those are your sperm and your egg or your ova, okay? And you'll see this little capital N, that represents, when you see the capital N, that basically represents haploid cells, okay? And the only haploid cells in human beings are either sperm in males or eggs or ova in females, okay? Now, diploid cells, di meaning 2, 2N, that's 2 sets of chromosomes. These are your body cells. Every other cell in your body besides sperm or egg, okay? And that's what we've seen before. Most of you have seen biology before. You know those 2 words, haploid and diploid. Now there's a third one, because this is kind of the odd one. There's another word called polyploid, and the word poly means many. 3N or more. Actually, there's something called triploid, which means 3N, or more. What does that mean? We have more than 2 sets of chromosomes, okay? Poly means many, so we have several sets of chromosomes. Now, does that affect us? No. Human beings, that's not going to work. Most animals, that's not going to work. Plants, however, are a different story. Plants are kind of odd that way. And you can see up here it says 80% of flowering plants are polyploid because these are larger and larger, more hardy than diploid members of the same group. And you can see right here, the modern red wheat, triticum, is what we call hexaploid, means 6, right? Instead of having 14 chromosomes like its counterpart, it's got 42 chromosomes. Now, how does it affect it? In us, it wouldn't work. In human beings, it's not going to work. In plants, it's not a big problem for them, okay? And again, think about it, plants are not that complicated. So here's a haploid. We've got a purple, an orange, and a yellow, or a purple, red, and yellow. Here, diploid, we've got 2 purples, 2 reds, and 2 yellows. Here in polyploid, we got 6 yellows, 6 purples, and 6 reds. This is, technically, you want to call this hexaploid. This is hexaploid, okay? It's a type of polyploid, okay? Again, primarily plants are the only ones that really do that. Most, I don't know of any animal that does. If there is one, we'll find it out, okay? But animals don't do that. Humans especially can't do that. Now, always remember though, question, why are the gametes haploid? That's something we need to always remember. Why are our sex cells, or sperm and egg, haploid? Why do they only have 1 set of chromosomes? Well, remember, if mom had, because we do sexual reproduction, right? If mom has 1 set of chromosomes and dad has the other set, put them together and you get both sets of chromosomes, okay? So 23 chromosomes normally, right? With each egg, or sperm, or egg. To make a cell, that's 46 chromosomes, okay? And then that cell will divide and make more, and make more, and make more through something we'll talk about later called mitosis, right? Again, if we didn't though, we'd end up with 92 chromosomes if we did not go through this haploid stage. And if you think about that, 92 is not going to work in a human. It literally will not work. You cannot create a human being with 92 chromosomes in it. The body just won't, the cell, it just won't work, okay? It will basically destroy itself pretty quickly. It's just too much genetic information and the cell can't handle it and it just won't form, okay? Now, that is, again, the basics of what we've been talking about so far as karyotyping and looking at the chromosomes, okay? So next up, we're going to look at some of the stages of how we make cells.